And now, it's time for another episode of the 12-Man Fan Jam Show. A show made by 12s from around the world, for 12s around the world. I'm Mozette, and here's your host and my dad, the self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Island Church of Seahawk Positivity.
Yes, thank you, Mozette, and welcome to episode 617, the Rams-Packers Recap Edition of your 12-Man Fan Jam Show, as we talk about your Seattle Seahawks and how they played against the Los Angeles Rams and those Green Bay Packers. And hey, what can I tell you? You can't get the game ball if your player is inactive for the game, folks. It just doesn't work that way. Trust me, I know.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton.
Unbelievable. All right.
This is not a hypothetical scenario, folks.
Yeah, you'll find out during the third quarter that's exactly what I did. Let's make the posse for this episode. First, the yin to my yang from merry old England. It is Matt. Hi, Matt.
Good morning, Moses. How are you?
Oh, Matt, we are splendiferous. How are you, sir?
Splendiferous. God, that's a fantastic use of the language.
Yeah,
I'm really well, actually. I'm really good.
Almost British.
Almost didn't. Yes, you did sound British.
I'm not getting carried away.
No, not at all. Very few people would be able to carry you away.
Oh, you're so nice.
Burn.
No, you don't, Dustin. You don't go ho ho ho. Your boss goes ho ho ho.
Ouch.
Speaking of that, hey, speaking of the man who said ouch, not the guy who said, yeah, okay. It's Will. Hi, Will.
Hi, Moses. How are you?
I'm not sure. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm still thankful that the Seahawks didn't wear their nuclear green jerseys for Thursday night football.
Yes, it's a choice, and we made a proud choice that evening.
I did not even notice that until you just mentioned it.
That doesn't surprise me. That voice of wisdom is, of course, the one and the only Dustin. Hi, Dustin.
Hello.
How are you, sir?
Short. How are you?
I'm fat, and together we're cops. All right.
That is the newest show on Fox.
They're cops.
Sitcom. Fat and short. A man who would watch, there's no doubt in my mind, if that was a sitcom, this person would definitely watch it. And from behind enemy lines is Statsman Mark. Hi, Statsman Mark.
Hello, everybody.
How are you, sir?
Well, California is ablaze. And so I Googled smoke inhalation and all kinds of images. You'd be amazed what you see just Googling that. But one of them was Mike McCarthy's offensive game plan. I thought, wow, just
the game plan, folks. Come on. I love it, Mark. Does
that guy just look like a small town sheriff who just somehow got a gig coaching a team? He doesn't look like a coach to me.
Well, if you remember, I said on my preview, he looks like a guy that got too many veggies on his plate and not enough bratwurst. That's what he looks like to me.
If they ever do a remake of Smokey and the Bandit, though.
Yeah, that's very. Oh my gosh, yes, Jackie Gleason's character, without a doubt. Hey, let's go ahead and see how this show's going to work, shall we, Fergie?
Let's get it started in here.
Not well.
Despite what Dustin thinks, this show is run like a real NFL football game. We have 4 quarters and a halftime. Quarter 1 is news. Quarter 2 is the Rams recap. We'll be quick about that one. That's what she said. Challenge, the Posse Challenge scores as well from that game. Of course, at halftime, it is the best Seahawk-themed trivia game on the internet. I refer to 12-Man Fan Jam Show halftime trivia.
Of the world.
And our winner last time, I believe, was Matt from Merry Old England. Is that correct, Matt?
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
Yes, you ordered a trophy and everything.
Yeah. That's unfortunate.
Well, we'll see if that changes tonight. Quarter 3 is going to be a recap of Thursday night's win over the Green Bay Packers, which we'll spend probably a little bit more time on. And, of course, quarter 4 is something new tonight. We've never done this, but it's been a request from the posse. They say, hey, you're always giving us questions, Moses. Why don't we quiz the Quizmaster? Well, they're getting their chance tonight. So fourth quarter, each of them is going to ask me a question with serious, dire consequences. All right. That's for Mark. Before we start,
it warms me a lot.
We'd like to remind you to like, share, subscribe to the Positivity channel, the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel. Join us on our Facebook group, 12-Man Fan Jam Show. We have a game day thread. We're on Twitter. Our email is 12manfanjamshow@gmail.com. Look for the downloadable podcast on this very show on iTunes and Podbean. Take us with you. Listen during the week while you're waiting for the Seahawks to get back on the field. But before we start the first quarter, we do have a shout out.
Hey, can I do a shout out? Shout out.
Yes, it's time for a quick shout out. Matt from Air England would like to give a great shout out this evening, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Today it was announced by the president of the UK Seahawks fans and Seahawkers that we were giving our charity donation for the year, and we have raised an amazing £10,000, which is about $12,800 for charity.
Well done,
Fantastic.
guys.
And
£10,000 from the UK Seahawkers.
It's just astonishing. But that money is being split between 4 charities. Just to give a quick one what they are. The SSAFA, which is a UK-based military charity, joint Army, Navy, Air Force charity, looks after families, etc. for those who have served. A charity called Archie Smile, which is for families which have children who have Down syndrome. We've got the Helinski's Hope Foundation, obviously, and the PGA Foundation. So wonderful. That money is going to be on its way to those 4 organisations. But to put this in context, in 2005, Andy Robinson, who's the treasurer of the UK Seahawks, signed our very first ever charity donation cheque in 2005, and it was for £50. Wow. That was our first ever. So
crazy.
From 2005 to 2018, we've gone from £50 to £10,000.
Amazing. Well done, UK Seahawkers.
Yep.
And not
awesome.
surprising. They're just an amazing group over there.
Hey, so when you guys do that stuff, as far as the money counting thing goes, if it's 10,000 pounds, do you guys just call it 5 tons, or how does that work?
They use metric tons over there, Dustin.
We use metrics,
Lord.
yeah. And we use and all our notes have a women on it, and no former slave owners.
Yeah. Well, I want a quick shout out too, and we're going to work on this. And if you have some suggestions, anyone has suggestions, I want you to contact us here at 12-Man Fan Jam Show, either on the Facebook page or on our Gmail. But we do have a lot of Seahawk fans living in California that have recently gone through an amazing amount of loss because of the fires. And so I thought if we all got together, and if you know somebody, we're going to obviously put them on our 12-Man Fan Jam page. We're going to kind of spotlight them. We'll maybe sticky note it to the top of our page. If you want to donate to them, or some people, if you have a Seahawk fan that you know is being devastated by the California fires, that's lost stuff, because I've seen a couple friends on my Facebook have. We're going to put their names at the top of our 12-Man Fan Jam Show Facebook page, and a couple of them have GoFundMe's going. So if you have anybody, let us know. So we're going to try to help out as much as we can with the fires there as well. And I don't think it'll be 10,000 pounds, but maybe we can get some people to donate that haven't thought about it. So thanks, Matt. That was an awesome way to start the show.
Thank you.
All right, let's get to that first quarter and news. Yes, news from around the NFL world with our news sound Will. It's the 12-Man Fan Jam Show News Report. Brought to you by our sponsor, the Seahawk Refrigerator. It keeps running and running and running and running and so on. Will, what you got for us?
Well, Moses, it's perhaps appropriate that a player for a team whose uniforms are bright red would be a rabid fan of ketchup. That would be Patrick Mahomes, who said in a recent interview by Seth Wickersham at ESPN that he is a ketchup fanatic who enjoys the condiment on everything, including steak. Wow. So the president is not the only one. I find it strange, but hey, whatever works for Mahomes.
Yeah.
Anyway, that has gotten the attention of Heinz, despite the fact that Mahomes threw 6 touchdowns in a win over the Steelers at Heinz Field earlier this year. But they have offered Mahomes ketchup for life if he can throw 57 touchdowns this season.
Wow.
I'm not opposed to it, and I get ketchup for life, Mahomes said via the Kansas City Star. I'll be sure to share it with some of the offensive linemen. I don't think it's that weird, but I put it on my macaroni and cheese. People think that's a weird thing. Some people think that's disgusting, but it's good to me. So,
Wow.
Anyway, Mahomes is up to 31 touchdowns in 10 games, so
Wow.
57 is not outside the realm of possibility.
Not outside the realm at all. My little Mo, he'll put ketchup. He loves ketchup too. He'll just like eat ketchup off his plate when he's done. Like it was just leftover ketchup. It's really disgusting. But
I don't get it, but whatever works.
I don't either.
My grandma also puts it on steak, and I don't understand that. She wants her steak well done, like it cannot be red at all, and then she just wants to put all the red on top of it. I don't get it.
Oh, well,
who's that?
My grandma.
Oh, that's old. That's where you get it from, Dustin. That's where
he gets it from. Yeah. Zorny, what about you? Is there any particular condiment that you enjoy? Most I said condiment.
I don't know, ketchup.
Thank you for including the third syllable there.
I'm more of a salsa guy, but
you're more of a salsa guy.
I gotta say though, Patrick Mahomes has single-handedly made the Chiefs likable.
He has.
I mean, forever I still have bitter memories of that, of going in and playing an Arrowhead, but. I mean, the kid, you just can't help but root for him. I mean,
I agree.
What a season, and the league desperately needs that image. I mean, geez, he couldn't find. It's like Derek Jeter reincarnated with like an afro or whatever he has going on.
Great kid. I agree 100%. For me, I'm more of a mustard guy than a ketchup guy, but to me, mayo is the antichrist of condiments. I don't even want to go there.
You don't do anything mayo, do you?
Oh, I hate mayo. Yeah, no, absolutely not. Yeah.
Well, how old is this particular? How old is he?
Mahomes?
I'm just trying to work out what his life expectancy
is. He like 23?
Because if it's ketchup for life and he's an American, so therefore his life expectancy is what, 3 years? So
hey now,
he's a football player, so he's going to get arrested.
But he's in good shape though.
Can't you see him like 30 years from now and he weighs about 400 pounds? I used to be somebody.
Hey. It worked for Jared Lorenzen, okay? He's still playing football in that one league.
Jared Lorenzen. Oh, man.
Nice name pull.
Will, save us from the ketchup, please.
Well, Moses, I am rapidly turning into an old fuddy-duddy, but even I have heard of this Fortnite thing all the kids seem to be into these days.
That Fortnite thing the kids are into on the interwebs, yeah.
Dude, my kids get me to play that all the time.
Well, it's interesting, Dustin, because for a while you could buy NFL-based skins and have your players on characters on Fortnite be dressed up as NFL players.
Oh, I have them. Yeah.
Oh, Dustin's the cool dad. Go ahead.
That was only available for a short time, although the league and the company are saying that they'll have NFL skins again. But this being the internet, there have been some rather interesting decisions with some of these skins.
Yes, there has.
We've had a character in a Michael Vick Falcons uniform with a dog on his back.
Yes.
A character in an Aaron Hernandez uniform.
No.
And my all-time favorite actually goes back to Patrick Mahomes again, because while he was playing, he was killed by somebody wearing a Mahomes jersey. And Chiefs receiver Tyreek Hill tried to claim responsibility for it.
Yes.
So the relationship between the league and Fortnite is proceeding apace.
It really is.
Well,
Little Mo is
tell
obsessed.
you that for the Michael Vick thing, there's actually a thing where you can put that dog in a backpack on any player. So that's kind of how that is.
Yes, you can. Little Mo is obsessed with Fortnite. He couldn't wait for the NFL to come out. Of course, he's got it. He's got all the uniforms. Of course, he only uses one. The Ravens. No, I'm kidding. I used the Seahawk one. But and he made Russell Wilson because he thinks the guy looks more like Russell Wilson than anybody else. But anyway, he was showing me some of those. That one with Michael Vick with the dog looking over his shoulder is just beautiful. Just funny stuff.
So terrible, though.
It is. Yeah, Fortnite on the internet.
Online irony.
Yeah.
Oh, my kids are always trying to get me to play that, and they're like, "Dad, come on!" And then they put me in like this little island with them where nobody else is playing. Like, we're going to teach you how to do this, so you don't fuck it up when we're playing.
And you do.
I'm sorry, mess it up when we're playing.
Mess it up, yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
That's okay. For the kids listening, they know. They know
nobody
what that
cares.
means. Yeah, nobody cares. No one's listening by now. The Fortnite on the interwebs has the NFL uniforms. Quite entertaining. It really is.
So if you haven't gotten them yet, they'll be back at some point.
I'm sure they will be. All right. Well, hey, thanks for the news, sir.
Anytime, Moses.
All right. That's the end of the first quarter.
the end of the first quarter, bitches.
Coming up on this recap edition of the 12-Man Fan Jam Show, halftime trivia, quiz, the Quizmaster. But next, it's a look back at that Sunday loss a couple of games ago, way back against the Rams. Yeah, we have to talk about that. We'll do that right after this.
You're listening to the 12-Man Fan Jam Show, a Seahawk Positivity production.
Is this the fun part? Are we having fun yet?
Holy shit, it's the second quarter.
What was I saying? Oh, yes. Now,
Ketchup.
go back to the ketchup thing, though, right? It would be a nightmare for me. You know, you get this ketchup in the little sachets that you get in, like, restaurants and stuff. I can't get them open, ever. So, like, if
just
they
pound
send...
the spray all over the place, man.
Yeah, but you do that, but you cover the bloke who's sitting in front of you, and, like, all from his head and stuff, and nobody wants to do that.
I thought you did that. I don't know.
Nah.
Poor Matt would be tortured with ketchup for the rest of his life.
Yeah, it wouldn't be good. Not a good
No,
thing.
my luck would be mayo, and I would be in, like, personal hell. Oh, hey! Welcome back to the second quarter of episode 617 of your 12-Man Fan Jam Show, where the fun never starts. I mean, the fun never stops. It never stops!
Nice one.
Let's talk a little bit, briefly, we have to, about last Sunday's loss to the Rams, 36-31. A really hard-fought game that, once again, the Seahawks fell just a little short and fell to 4-5 at the time. Zorny, can you give us something from that game, either good or bad, if you can remember back that far? It's been 5 days, and we've had something exciting happen since then, but what about that Rams game you remember?
Many tokens ago, sir.
Yeah.
So many. Let's see. Well, the one that we'll all probably touch on here a little is Penny, because
yes.
I mean, that was a huge game for him, and we've seen a bit more since, and I mean, just a great game. I mean, you're reminded why he was drafted, in the first round,
Yes.
and he finally's got some opportunity, and he can turn a corner, and he has a nice spin move, and that was huge under the circumstances on the road against that team for him to be a huge part of that game.
Yes, I agree, and it's funny because Evan Hill on Twitter.
Oh gosh.
He proclaimed,
That's a fun story.
"If Rashad Penny goes for 100 yards today, I will tattoo his face on my chest and his eyes will be my nipples." I think he has since decided.
No word on whether or not he's followed through on that.
No, not yet.
He did ask for it to anyone who was a temporary tattooist.
He did. Actually, he has a temporary tattooist. So he's being a good sport about it. But the lesson there is don't make wagers that you're not prepared to pay off.
It's
No matter how
real
ridiculous.
shock he didn't follow through on that one.
Statsman Mark can Statsman Mark, you should school him in wagering, I believe.
Oh, I don't know. I'm 12 and 17 right now. So
Yeah.
But you don't have
any
Rashad Penny
tattoos.
tattooed on your body anywhere.
Truth. Hey, Will, what from that game besides Rashad Penny did you remember from the Rams game?
Well, just like the first game, just thinking back, and just we could have had both of those games. We made dumb mistakes in the first game and it cost us, and we made dumb mistakes in the second game and it cost us. And I'm watching the Rams, and their offense is playing very well, obviously. And when you're playing those guys, you can't make mistakes, but this is a beatable football team.
Yes.
And we're good enough to have beaten them. Well, we have the potential to be good enough to beat them. If we were, we would have. But if we get another shot, if we get into the playoffs and get another shot at these guys, we can take them. I mean, these guys, the Rams are a very good team, and I was impressed that they played so well with everything that's going on in California right now.
Yeah.
But this is a beatable football team, and if we could somehow get into the playoffs and beat those guys in the playoffs, I honestly don't even care what happens after that.
I'm with you on that.
Anything other than that would be gravy. But we've got, and fortunately, 4 days later, we did cut down on the dumb mistakes when the game was on the line. But that's what cost us in both Rams games.
Yeah.
And we can't do that if we're going to get into the playoffs.
No, and I think it's a little bit of the youth probably coming out in this team, I would imagine. The youth part of this team and the big, massive overhaul that we had in the offseason is there's a little bit, I guess you could call it growing pains, for lack of a better word, unfortunately. Dustin, something from that Rams game?
Well, a little context here. Before we even started this month, I looked at the schedule and I said, we're playing and Phillip Rivers and the Chargers, who are good. We're playing the Rams, who are good. We're playing the Packers, who I think are probably a better team than what they've been showing. And then we're playing Carolina. And I said that if we lose to the Chargers, no big deal. That's an AFC team. Doesn't really affect our playoff spot other than the overall record. Rams, we're not going to catch them in the division. If they beat us, not a big deal. But we do have to beat the Packers and Carolina. That's what's going to matter. That being said, watching that Rams game, I thought, we match up well with these guys. We have a chance to beat these guys every time we play them. It kind of reminded me of the rivalry we had with them when the Seahawks were good in the early 2000s and the Rams were not that good.
Yes.
But they still gave us fits every single time. And also thinking about that reminded me of the year where we played them 3 times in a season. And this is kind of what Will was talking about, where it's hard to beat a team 3 times in a season.
Right.
And they got us in the playoffs. So I would love to have a chance to get them in the playoffs, get some payback for that.
That'd be awesome on their and on their floor as well. I will vouch for that, Dustin. In fact, that when you said that about losing to the Rams and the Chargers, that's you're looking at the Packers and the Panthers, and I thought, wow, that's pretty smart of you to say. The voice of reason, Dustin. Which
that's a first.
That's. But true, but very true. Dustin did say that, and I vouch for it. And I thought, wow, he's got a great point. The Rams and the Chargers game weren't as important as the Packers and the Panthers game are for our playoff hopes. And if we beat the Packers, if we beat the Panthers, we'll be 6-5, and we'll have a game on those teams. We might be fighting for a playoff spot. Great point, Dustin. Matt, anything from the Rams game?
Russell Wilson started running again, suddenly, people.
He did.
There was movement. We had movement outside. I mean, which is great. I don't think he's quite the same as 2012, 13. He's not quite as sort of rushy as that. But I think it was, 90 yards, something like that, in that Rams game. Which, is great to see that dynamic come back into the game for him. Because it does, make defenses have to think and make sure that they are watching him. Because he can move, and he will punish you.
Yeah.
Maybe Shoddy's getting a little compromised a little bit with Russell. Like, don't necessarily stay in. Go out there. We need you to do Russell Wilson things now.
Wilson, please. Loosen him up a little bit. Yeah, hopefully. The one thing I took away from the Rams game was I was very impressed with guard Jordan Simmons, who took over for DJ Fluker. And yes, I'm definitely glad DJ Fluker's back, but I don't remember thinking, oh my gosh, Jordan Simmons, what are you doing? Never once during that game. Which means he held his own at least, and that's an incredible front line of the Rams, especially on passing downs. And, he wasn't perfect, but man, to come first NFL start against that incredible defensive line, and I thought Jordan Simmons did, obviously we ran for 170 yards again, so obviously he's part of that. I just was really impressed with Jordan Simmons. I thought, wow. When I saw that Fluker was out, you think like last time, that's the end of our running game, we're done. But we weren't, not at all. Things were as normal, and I think you have to credit Simmons for that a little bit, just for the fact that he wasn't a huge drop-off. But
I think even more than that, I don't think he was any kind of weakness, because if you notice, they were not attacking him, they were attacking Sweezy.
Yes, they were. They were attacking Sweezy, you're right.
Donald every time.
I did spend the whole first series going, who is 66?
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, and to Solari for getting him ready. I mean, I think I'm reminded, and again, it's just, that the horse is so dead that it's just it's skeletal remains, when I used to talk about Cable on the line, but I'm reminded of what real coaching can do. Something on the coaching level changed because there's new pieces. But a lot of the same. Infetti is. This is turning into a bad Disney movie. Where the guy sucks. And he's abandoned by somebody, because in Disney films you're always abandoned by somebody in the family.
Well, and
I don't know where I'm going with this, other than he has come full circle, and he looks to be playing well.
Moses, you can vouch also, because the Colts, they've got Glowinski, right? He's doing really well over there.
Yeah,
so
he is.
I think we're seeing just how much Cable was dragging this whole unit down for the last few years.
You see what's happening in Oakland, even though they said, well, they were injured a lot, blah blah blah. But it was the fifth. Well, no, it was the Russell Wilson has only had 5 double-digit losses since 2012. That's the least in the NFL. Tom Brady at 7. and then Roethlisberger at 12, and it goes up from there. So, I mean, the fact that when you have Russell Wilson in the game, you're in the game. And again, had a chance to win that game. I agree with you guys. Watching them play, they were not intimidated by the Rams at all. They came out and played a really good game. And hey, let's give the Rams some credit. That's a pretty daggone good football team that they've got there.
Yep.
So give them a little credit.
Yeah.
Well,
minus the run defense.
Exactly. And let's go ahead and go into our an early 2-minute warning.
Holy shit, it's a 2-minute warning.
2-minute warning for the Posse Prediction Challenge for the Rams game. Just for the Rams game. Of course, the score was 31-36. Gave a point to Jose because he had 35-31. It was 31-36. That's pretty close. 3 points to Little Mo because he said the Seahawks would have 31 points, so he got that. Prognostications. I did give Little Mo his because Procise was not hurt, but I'm warning y'all. It's not happening again. A point to Max Pascal because Goff was sacked twice. A point to Tom. Wilson did take part in 3 TDs. A point to Statsman Mark. Penny had 50 yards. I think he had 50 yards before halftime. So, and I almost did 1 run, I think. And a point to me for a Vanette touchdown. Nobody for the game ball. Let's not even go there. The over and under was over. Point for Jose, Little Mo, Tom, and me. Meaning week 9 looked like this individually. Little Mo with 5. Jose with 2. Me with 2. Tom with 2. Statsman Mark with 1. Mike Pascal with 1. The scores after 9 games. Little Mo is on top with 22. Mike Pascal 16. Mark Ty Turner 14. Jose 14. That's 4 members of Team Posse. Or Team 12.
Team 12.
And oh, look, here I am. Here we go. Moses, Will, and Statsman Markin at 13. Tom at 13. Dustin at 12. Matt at 9. The scores going into the Packer game. Team 12, 79. Team Posse, 60. 19 points.
Oh.
Yeah.
Plenty of time in the fourth quarter. There's plenty of time in the fourth quarter.
Playtime. And speaking of playtime, let's go ahead and go to halftime.
Can we block users or viewers?
Like who?
Like the people we're incompetent with. If we block them, we can't lose, right?
Oh, yeah. I didn't get your email. Yeah, we could do that.
You're the moderator, man.
We could do that. Let's see if I can do that. But right now, we have halftime coming up.
Holy shit, it's halftime.
Oh, so much more show coming up. Is there enough tryptophan in a turkey to knock out Cam Newton? Is there really good surfing in Seattle? Do cheeseheads go well with whining? All these answers and so much more just around the corner. But first, it's another fine edition of your 12-Man Fan Jam Show Halftime Trivia. And that's coming up next.
You're listening to the 12-Man Fan Jam Show, a Seahawk Positivity production.
We like it very much.
Yes, it's halftime, and welcome to another fun-filled edition of the best play-along Seahawk-themed trivia game show on the internet. It's time for 12-Man Fan Jam Show Halftime Trivia. And here's your host, the self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Island Church of Seahawk Positivity. Yes, thank you, and welcome to another fine edition of 12-Man Fan Jam Show Halftime Trivia
of the world!
The trivia game that tests the knowledge of both our posse and our listeners. Our contestants are the posse themselves, Dustin, Statsman Mark, Matt, and Will. And like they used to say all of the old days, here come the rules. So here's how the trivia game works. There'll be 2 rounds of questions. Each contestant answers 1 question each round. If they get it correct, they get 1 point. After 2 rounds of questions, there'll be a final trivia question worth 2 points. If there's a tie after that, then the tie players go on to a special secret overtime question where the winner becomes reigning 12-man Fan Jam Show Trivia Champion and also gets a prize chosen especially for them. As an added bonus to those listening on the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel, the questions and possible answers will be displayed on your screen so you, the viewer and listener, can play along as well. If you do, please let us know how you did on the questions. Remember, there's no Googling, no phone a friend, and please, no wagering. However, there is a lifeline. Before taping this show, my 2 charming Seahawk fan children, Mosette and Little Mo, did take the quiz as well. If the contestants want to know what the kids said, they can ask that but once and only once during the entire game show and only in the first 2 rounds. Now let's get ready to play 12-Man Fan Jam Show Halftime Trivia. All right, you gentlemen know the rules. You know how this works. 1 question per round. The topic is the first set of questions, 3 out of the 4 questions, are about the Seahawks on the road. Seahawks on the road is your topic. And we'll start with last week's champion, which is Matt. Matt, 1, 2, 3, or 4?
I'll go 2, please.
Matt's going to go 2. Dustin, 1, 3, 4.
4.
Will, 1, 3.
1.
And that means number 3 belongs to Statsman Mark. All right. On the road. Are you ready, Will?
Sure.
Sure, whatever. Don't cost nothing. Will, when the Seahawks...
Don't start nothing. Won't be nothing.
Yeah. When the Seahawks played the Broncos in Denver this season, how many turnovers did both teams have? They had the same amount of turnovers. What was it? 1, 2, or 3? How many turnovers? 1, 2, or 3?
1, 2, 1 each, 2 each, or 3 each, or 2?
Yeah, they each had the same amount. Exactly.
Okay.
Dance! 1, 2, or 3?
I can't dance because I got the cat in my lap, so I'm just going to say 2.
That's probably the only time the pussy will see your lap. What'd you say?
Whoa.
What?
I said 2, dickhead.
2. It's getting nasty in here. 2. Mosette and Lil Mo said 2. You said 2. I'm sorry, it's 3. It is 3. Yeah, they each had 3. Matt.
Yes.
When the Seahawks played the Bears in Chicago this season, how many turnovers did both of those teams have? Same amount. 1, 2, or 3. Again, weird but true.
Is it really? Let's ask the kids. Let's do a kid straight off the gap. No, let's not mess about.
Straight off the gap. No mess about. Straight off with whatever you said. I don't know. You English with your sayings.
Davis is always making things weird.
Yeah, I'm trying. Little Mo said 1. Mosette said 2.
Oh, 1 then.
You say 1, you go with Little Mo?
Yeah. He's
right.
leading. He's got all the points.
What? You're so right. You're right. You said 1. Now it's 2.
Oh, typical.
Sorry.
Now he gets it wrong.
It's true. Yeah. Yeah. All right, Mark.
Deep.
Yours is not a football question. It's about London. It's about Wembley Stadium. How many acres does the roof of Wembley Stadium actually cover? Is it 10 acres, 11 acres, or 12 acres? How many acres does the roof of Wembley Stadium cover? And no, you cannot ask Matt. 10 acres, 11 acres, or 12 acres?
That is a giant roof.
Do you know that, Matt?
What? No, I don't.
Okay.
What would
Is acre a unit of measurement in England, or is that...
Yes.
Okay.
Of land size, yeah.
Oh. You know, I'll just say 12.
They'll say, hey, we're
good
close,
luck.
right?
Yeah.
Mosette same thing. Mosette said 12. So, I mean, and Little Mo said 10. But you also said 12. Now, it's 11 acres. 11 acres. That roof covers 11 acres. So, there you go, Matt. Go impress your friends. Dustin.
Yeah.
When the Seahawks played the Lions in Detroit this year, who had the most receptions? Most receptions. Was it Chris Carson, Tyler Lockett, or David Moore? Who had the most receptions? Carson, Lockett, or Moore against the Lions?
I'll say Lockett. That dude's been on fire this year.
On fire!
Fire!
Lockett. Mosette said Lockett. Little Mo said Moore. You said Lockett. Now, David Moore had 4.
Suck.
Well,
Carson and Lockett had 2.
I'm contagious. You're kind of a dick right now.
We just suck.
All right. No points to this round. We go to the next round, and his topic is Seahawks at home. Matt, 5, 6, 7, 8.
I'll go 6. Stay with the scheme.
Oh, you know what? It's not all home. I'll just tell you that, but that's all right. You're going with 6?
Yeah.
Okay. But it is teams they played this year. Let's see. Mark? 5, 7, 8. 5?
Yep.
Will? 7 or 8?
I'll do 7.
That means 8 goes to Dustin. All right.
I'll take 8.
They're not all home games, as I'm looking at.
Don't laugh, Matt.
But they are about this season. So.
I'll laugh.
Here we go. Question 5 goes to Mark, and his is a football question. When the Seahawks hosted the Chargers this season, who had the most receptions in that game overall? The most receptions by anybody on the field. Keenan Allen, Mike Davis, or Nick Vannett? Who had the most receptions in the Chargers game? Keenan Allen, Nick Vannett, or Mike Davis? Or Keenan Allen, Mike Davis, Nick Vannett?
Boy, it sounds like trickery, but I'm going to say Allen.
Trickery, he says. But he says
Trickeration.
Trickery. He says Allen.
Strategery there.
Little Mo said Davis. Nick Vannett got Moses. And I don't know, he took her? No. And you said Keenan Allen. No, I'm sorry. It was Mike Davis, 7. Mike Davis had 7 catches. Keenan Allen and Nick Vannett each had 6.
Oh.
A little trickeration there. Matt.
Yes.
Oh, Matt.
Yes.
Matt,
Oh, dear.
did you know the term cheesehead
Yeah, of course.
was actually originated by the Germans to insult who during World War II?
Probably
Was
the
it
French.
the Dutch, the Swedes, or the Italians? Who were cheeseheads to the Germans
Not
in
the
World War II?
French?
Wow.
The
The
Dutch,
French too.
the Swedes, or the Italians?
Well,
Somebody.
It would. Well, it's going to be It's going to be the Dutch.
It's got to be the Dutch.
It's got to be the Dutch because they're the biggest cheese makers in Europe. So
It's going to be the Dutch, or it was
Oh.
the Dutch?
Oh. Yeah. Okay, he says the Dutch. Well, Mo said the Dutch.
I
Mosette
love
said
the
the
Dutch, by the
Swedes.
way.
You said the Dutch. Yeah, it was the
I
Dutch.
love the Dutch. Lovely people.
Matt.
Much better than
Well
the
done.
French.
They called the Dutch the cheeseheads
Not a
during
high
World
bar,
War II.
man.
Yes.
Way to get on the board.
Yeah. Will, it's your turn to join him. Here you go.
Okay.
When the Seahawks played the Rams in Los Angeles this season. See, that's where I kind of went off a little bit. How many total punts were there in the game by both teams? How many total punts? Were there 3, 4, or 5? So it's both teams combined. How many punts? 3, 4, or 5?
What do the kids say?
Mosette and Lil Mo both say 5. 3, 4, or 5?
I'm going to go 4.
He's going to go 4. The kids went 5. You went 4. Now it is 5. Seattle 3 and the Rams 2 on the punts, by the way.
Oh, I thought the Rams only punted once. That's what threw me off. So.
Hard to remember. Yeah. Very
Well, they had
unusual
their first
situation.
3 and out.
Yeah.
When they played us.
That's
but
true.
That was pretty sweet.
Dustin.
Yeah.
When the Seahawks played the Cowboys this season.
Yeah.
How many turnovers did the Cowboys have? 3, 4, or 5? How many turnovers did the Cowboys have in that game? 3, 4, or 5?
3. I don't remember, honestly.
3. Whatever, 3. Lil Mo said 4. Mosette said 5. You said 3. Yeah, they did.
Nice.
Yeah, 3. All
Welcome
right.
to the game.
Wow, look at you. Check out the big brains on Dustin. All right.
Those
rounds are
brains,
over.
sir.
And that means it's time for the final question. All right, here's how the final question goes. It's a high-low number. The closest without going over gets 2 points, and it looks like there's no chance of overtime, so I have to worry about that. The order is going to be Will, Mark, Matt, and Dustin. Will, Mark, Matt, and Dustin. Okay? Are you gentlemen ready?
No, it should be Dustin then Matt, right?
Yeah,
Will,
I was champion last week.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Will, Mark, Dustin, and Matt. Is that satisfying? Does that please you?
It's fair. It's fair.
Are you-
I would expect the same treatment whenever I win.
You know that's not going to happen.
Probably not.
But no,
All right, the order, I will correct myself. Will, Mark, Dustin, and Matt. And here's your question, Will, and all of you. How many times have the Seahawks punted so far this season? How many punts, including the Packers game?
Whoa.
How many punts in the season so far for the Seahawks? Will.
Such a ridiculous question.
Isn't it? Google that.
Yeah,
don't.
go on.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't Google that. How many?
31.
Will says 31. Mark, how many punts for the Seahawks so far this season?
I will go 39.
39.
Oh,
Dustin,
gosh.
how many punts?
I don't know, man. I just feel sad for you because you had to go look that up. That's definitely not a stat that's reported anywhere that I'm aware of. So, I'll say 40.
Oh, it's recorded somewhere. I'm just going to tell you where. 31, 39, and 40, Matt. How many punts for the Seahawks this season?
So 39, 31, and 40. I'll go 41.
Ooh.
Asshole.
All right.
Wow. Well, thank you, sir. Thank you.
It is getting a little heated. The Seahawks so far this season have our friend Mr. Dixon, the Aussie dream kicker, punting Jesus, has had to punt 48 times.
Oh, yes.
Yes. It means once again, Matt is our champion. Matt from Marion, England. Order that trophy, buddy.
Trophy's on its way.
Excellent. Well done.
Amazing.
Yeah, that's actually, after 10 games, that's under 5 punts a game. That's actually not too bad.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Well done, Matt. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes. And thank all of you for another crowd-pleasing, heart-stopping, award-winning edition of your 12-Man Fan Jam Show halftime trivia.
Of the world.
Of the world.
We'll be right back with the second half of the show after this. Sex Pistols, take us out.
You're listening to the 12-Man Fan Jam Show, a Seahawk Positivity production.
We have great fun recording.
Holy shit, it's the third quarter.
Welcome to the third quarter of your 12-Man Fan Jam Show. Hey, you! Yes, you surfing in the end zone. Like, share, and subscribe to the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel. Join our Facebook group, 12-Man Fan Jam Show. Do it now, before I say it isn't safe to surf. Because if I say it's safe enough to surf in this end zone, Captain, it's safe enough to surf in this end zone. Oh, see, I knew Mark would get that. Mark, you get that?
I think so.
Apocalypse Now?
You see.
Apocalypse Now, baby. Yeah, pulling out the Robert Duvall on y'all. Okay. Let's talk about the Packer win from Thursday night. 27-24. The Seahawks beat the Packers in a really exciting game. A little too exciting for some of us, but exciting nonetheless. Matt, what are your thoughts about that game on Thursday night?
Well, we go from one extreme, if you like, to the Rams game, which was actually a pretty well-run game where, it was close and all that sort of stuff, to a game which had two very different halves. It had a first half of football that you could sit there and sort of watch through your fingers whilst everything sorts of falls apart. And then the second half where, our defense found its rhythm again. Russell made some better throws and just changed, swatched things up a bit. But it was a frustrating game, which was, nothing unusual for Seahawks fans, but it was disappointing, I suppose, that we seem to be playing better on the road than we are at home at the moment sometimes.
Yes. Yeah, that's very true. It was kind of a little disappointing part during that game on our game chat there, Dustin. You and I were kind of saying some things that weren't exactly, and it wasn't exactly the best start to that game either. So, but Dustin, what were your thoughts about the game? I kind of know some of it, but go ahead.
Frustrating was a good way to phrase it. A lot of the game was frustrating, but at the end of the day, the good guys got the win, and that's kind of the important thing. Mm-hmm. But just in watching it, it was just missed throws at the beginning with Russell Wilson. There was a fumble with Carson at the beginning. I mean, all the signs were in Green Bay's favor. Yeah. But somehow this team had the resiliency to deal with all that, let it go, come back, make plays, and win the game. And sack Aaron Rodgers, 5-6 times they sacked Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was... this team is a team that does not give up, and that's definitely a Pete Carroll character. Or Pete Carroll... what's the word I'm looking for?
Trait.
Yeah, Pete Carroll trait. He just teaches his teams to do that. And the thing that I think I took most from this game was that, like the NFC Championship game a few years ago, I'm a little bit of a cynic when I think about Russell Wilson and people in general when they say all these ultra super positive things. Like, I'm like, I feel like you're just saying that because you should. He really, really believes what he says, and then it shows up on the field. That dude is just like, he's the ultimate, like, I don't care what happened 30 seconds ago. I'm focused on the next thing.
Yes.
I'm going to make a positive thing happen next time, and we're going to win. And I love that about him, man. this game just kind of really personified that.
Him and Carroll, he's kind of like a mini Carroll out there. I mean, he's not going to give up. He's going to keep fighting, and I think the whole team feeds off that. And it really is. It's fun to watch this kind of football. Mark, I'm not going to take away from you because I want to hear what you have to say, but running the ball just physically and mentally just wears another team down, and they were, even if they're getting 2 yards in the first half, when they needed it at the end of that game, Mark, 2 yards became 4 yards, and 2nd and 6 is so much better, isn't it?
It is, and I got to give, especially in light of talk about our former OC, run for years and years. I mean, I like the mix that we're doing too. I mean,
yes.
There's some play action. There's it's actually interesting to watch this offense. When there's a good balance. Some really well timed call plays, and the team's been more, I think, mindful of down and distance.
Yes.
I mean, it's just weird to see just like rushing, to burn the clock out. I mean,
yes.
Man, it feels like years since I've seen that.
I know.
It's so nice to have a running game, and none of these guys are like major stars. You know what I mean? It's like these aren't big names or anything. And I don't know if anyone watches, what's that, Nick Wright and Chris Carter. I don't know what they do, some segment. And man, Nick Wright is talking about our offensive line like it's still 2 years ago. It's like, they're not very good. They're just, and it's like
not very good.
Nobody
170
pays,
yards in the last 5 games. Yeah.
And we were talking about tissues earlier, and my God, everything today is about Green Bay. Well, I'm it's leading to a point, but it just, we're talking about Green Bay. All these people just talking about Green Bay like somebody just died. I mean, it's crazy. Everything is about the Green Bay loss and nothing to do with us as usual. But
I mean, it kind of is though, because Green Bay did die tonight. Their season did. They're not making the playoffs. That's not going to happen.
Well, it's still going to be tough for us too, with already 5 losses.
It is, but you never. I think we're very much in it, but we couldn't have been in it without this win. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Will, what are your thoughts about the game?
Well, when we scored our final touchdown, when it had 27-24, I turned to the guy in the seats next to me. It's like, the only thing I don't like about this is that we left 5 minutes on the clock.
Agreed.
And I half expected Green Bay to just march right back down the field and at least get a field goal. So I was really impressed by both our defense forcing a 3-and-out on that ensuing possession. Although I'm still surprised that they didn't go for it on the 4th and 2, but hey, worked for us.
Yeah.
And then just our ability to run the clock out. So it was nice. It was nice to see us finish out a win rather than have to, pull a rabbit out of the hat or just frantically try to drive down the field and come up just short, anything like that. It was nice to be in the driver's seat and run the clock out and be able to kneel down and
finish.
Yeah.
That poor choice by McCarthy is really what made it a solid win for us, because that dude, how do you not go for that?
Well, you don't go for that because there's over 4 minutes left. And I didn't have a problem with that personally if he didn't go for it.
I didn't either, because
it depends on how your defense has been performing, though.
Yeah.
If you have 3 timeouts, punting in that situation makes sense. They only had 1, which again meant that
but they had 1 and a 2-minute warning.
But that still meant we just had to get 2 first downs, and we had that.
Yeah.
So.
But you had to get 2 first downs, and we all know recently finishing is something the Seahawks have not been doing very well.
Yeah, but we ran over them all day. The time left in the game ended up working to our advantage, because if it were only 2 minutes or so, it forces Green Bay to go for it, and that's where Rodgers really becomes dangerous. So the fact there was so much time for him, actually, strangely enough, worked in our favor.
Yeah. I was afraid that he would get the ball back, and honestly, that was my absolute favorite part of this game.
Yeah,
was that we had 4 minutes and 11 seconds when we got the ball back. And we never give it back to the Packers.
And I said that has to be on the thread. I said game day thread. This has to be the last time we see Aaron Rodgers on the field tonight. It has to be.
I think for me, the worst part about that last 5 minutes was listening to Joe Buck and Troy Aikman desperately almost phoning New York to try and get Lockett's catch overturned, because they were still talking about it like minutes after it had happened and kept on going on and on about it. That was the worst thing about that.
Which I'm telling you, and I'm telling you right now, and okay, it did look like an incompletion.
Yeah, it did, but it did wasn't called, and it wasn't challenged, and it wasn't.
They're also going, well, yeah, it kind of moved, it kind of this. And one thing I heard from Pereira way back, and I say this to my son every time: if we're watching a replay and we're going, maybe no, it's not going to work. Well, it had to be definitely an incompletion without question. I don't think it was.
On TV, the first probably several angles they showed, absolutely a catch.
Mm-hmm.
But later on, probably 5, 6, 7 plays later, they found a different angle.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that was definitely not a catch. Tyler Lockett, that ball hit the ground and moved around. That was not a catch.
We caught, no pun intended, we caught a major break on that after I saw that final review. I mean, it's it's okay. It's just that when I looked at it, clearly it should have been rolled incomplete.
Because that kind of play is not going to be in your favor next time. Maybe not.
Right.
Yeah, we caught a big break on that.
It probably should have been ruled incomplete, but then the catch, the David Moore's catch in the previous quarter should have been ruled complete.
Yeah.
No, we shouldn't have had to overturn
the referees were not in a position to call that an incomplete pass, though, because where they were standing, from what they saw,
there's no way they call that incomplete.
There was no way they could see that as an incomplete pass. But there's no point. What annoys me the most is going on and on and on about it. That suddenly the whole of this game, spun around and changed on a catch that wasn't
on one play, right?
It's like, can you just shut up about the fucking catch and let's talk about the fact that we've just managed to hold out the game for 4 minutes and 11 seconds, whatever it was, and run out the game.
See, I do appreciate that, but I don't mind the fact that they pointed out that there was a miss in the game.
No, I don't mind about the miss, and they pointed it out at the time because, Buck was saying, he could challenge this and win, and they had Pereira and the rest of them all come in and chime in, but he didn't challenge. And it didn't get overturned. And move on.
And that's why their coach might get fired.
Yeah. And move on, Get on with something else.
I don't blame with just one timeout. I wouldn't have either.
It's a gamble.
I just wouldn't have, two things for me. The Seahawks, according to ESPN Stats and Info, rushed for 173 yards. It's the 7th consecutive game Seattle has reached 150 yards on the ground. That is the 3rd longest streak in the last 40 seasons. Yeah, I think the run game's working pretty well, huh?
Oh.
Working.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's okay, yeah. And finally, for me, first, the game day thread, highlights of the game day thread. Dustin, who is just brilliant on the game day thread. If I can quote Dustin, and this was just maybe the best thing of the whole game day thread. Dustin said, I like it better when the Seahawks do all of the good things. It's not as fun when the other team does the good things. So I love that quote. That was brilliant.
That's deep, Dustin.
Wow.
That's deep.
It's very true, too.
That was
for
right
me,
out of the Book of Lamb.
And finally, before we go 2-minute warning, I almost fell out of my chair when that 4th string tight end for the Packers caught the ball. And I really wasn't paying much attention, and I heard, he's from Indiana State. I'm like, what? He's a fellow alum of mine. I went to Indiana State. And trust me, guys.
Oh, good one, Moses.
Nobody from Indiana State should beat anyone in football at any time for any reason. Never. That just made me madder at McDougal. You just lost to someone from Indiana State. Come on, man. You can't let Indiana State ever do anything.
What is the moniker of Indiana State?
We're the
what's
Sycamores.
the mascot?
We are the
Sycamore?
Sycamores.
You're a bunch of trees?
We're a bunch of trees, yes.
Yeah.
Someone's got to come second, and it may as well be us.
There you go. That's what our motto is.
That's the spirit.
No, actually, the real motto is Indiana State. Yeah, that's good enough.
It's that.
All right. Let's go to 2-minute warning.
Holy shit, it's a 2-minute warning.
It's time to check our posse prediction challenge from the Packers game. First on the scores from that game, 27-24 was the score. Jose had 27-23. He missed by 1 point. Yeah. So he gets 3 points and a point for the closest score. I get 3 points because I said the Seahawks would score 27. Prognostications, 1 point to Little Mo. He had 3 sacks for the Seahawks. They had 5. A point to Mike Pascal and Matt for having a ball with a touchdown.
I've got a point of the last 4 weeks.
For the game ball. A point to Jose and Little Mo for Clark. A point to Mark Ty Turner and Tom for Carson. A point to Mike Pascal because he said Dixon, and I'm going to go with the tight end on that. Game-winning catch, I'm going with it. A point to Statsman Mark for Wilson. A point to Will for Wagner. And a point to Dustin and Matt for Baldwin. Basically, everyone but me because I had Precise. Everyone got a game ball.
What? Precisely.
Yeah. The over and under was over. A point to Jose, Statsman Mark, and Will, meaning week 10 looked like this. Jose at 6. Moses at 3. Little Mo at 2, Mike Pascal at 2, Statsman Mark at 2, Will at 2, Matt at 2, Dustin at 1, Tom at 1, Mark Ty Turner at 1. I believe it's just about everybody there. The individual scores after 9 games look like this. Little Mo at top at 24, Jose at 20, Mike Pascal at 18, me at 16, Mark Ty Turner at 15, Will at 15, Statsman Mark at 15, Tom at 14, Dustin at 13, Matt at 11, which means as we go into the Panther game in a couple weeks, the score is Team 12 91, Team Posse 70. 21 points as they widen their lead just a little bit more on us in the Packer game.
Whoa.
So it's time, gentlemen. When we do our Panther predictions after this next show, we're going to have to really pull out all the stops, all right?
I predict my prognostication: Seattle will win the toss. And
there you go. No, don't put that. All right. All right, let's go ahead and head off into the fourth quarter.
It's the end of the third quarter, bitches.
All right, we go to the fourth quarter. It's going to be time for a brand new game. It's Quiz the Quizmaster. The posse's going to see what I know a little bit about trivia. And that's coming up right after this break. You're listening to the 12-Man Fan Jam Show. Why not? We'll be right back.
Hello everybody, this is Statsman Mark, and when I'm not listening to Charo's greatest hits on 8-track tape, I'm listening to the 12-Man Fan Jam Show.
Holy shit, it's the fourth quarter.
All right, it's time for the fourth and final quarter of this episode of your 12-Man Fan Jam Show. In this quarter, it's time to play a brand new game, and that brand new game is called Quiz the Quizmaster. Yes! Quiz the Quizmaster. The quiz contestants are becoming the Quizmasters as the posse themselves ask me, Moses, trivia questions. Quiz the Quizmaster. All right. Here's what we're going to do. Everyone I don't get right, then that posse member is going to give me a 3 to 5 sentence something to read next show during one of the quarters. So as we go into the second, third, or fourth quarter, or what have you, 2-minute warning or whatever. So it's 4 questions. Their assignment was to give me a question with 3 multiple choice. Let's start with Zorny. Mark, hit me with your best shot, buddy.
All right. Well, welcome everybody to the unprecedented Quiz the Quizmaster. So if I did more homework, I could have tortured you with something, but instead I'm going with a football.
That's a
related question, which is, which season did the Seahawks Panthers first play?
Ooh.
Very first time. Which season was it? Was it 2000, 2001, or 2002?
All right, 2000, 2001, 2002.
Give him the organ.
I got it.
What is to cue his own music?
Oh, he likes the
dance! All right, 2000, 2001, 2002. When did the Seahawks first play the Panth or no Panth?
Ask the kids.
I can't ask the kids. Okay.
I'm
going to say, I'm stuck between 2 of them. That's what she said. I'm going to go with, okay, I'm going with 2001.
Who is she in this situation?
2001 is my final answer.
2001. All right. Dennis, I'm afraid you're going to have to break out my own trivia theme song.
Yeah.
There it is. It was 2000. Now, I asked you this question. It happened to be my birthday that year.
Oh!
Oddly enough.
I'm sorry. I remember that game.
That's weird.
I don't remember too much about 31.
That's weird because I had a birthday that year too.
You know what? That's actually a better timeout. Like, take a timeout. That's actually kind of a better thing. If we get it right, play our theme song.
No. All right.
No.
But
we can pause it and redo it. I mean,
Mark?
Yes.
I don't have to edit it, so it's fine.
Mark, you get to write me a little rant of some kind between now and the next show. I'll start. Well, the next one will be Dustin, just because I gave him a hard time just now. Dustin.
Yeah.
What's your question for me?
Which Goldie Hawn movie was remade and had the Seahawks logo and gear featured throughout the film? Was it Overboard, Private Benjamin, or the Sugarland Express?
Well, I know one, Private Benjamin, because I love that movie. I'm going to guess what Sugarland Express.
There was a remake though with Jessica Simpson, Private Benjamin.
Okay, I still don't like that. I still like that movie, and I'm still going to say no. And I'm going to go with Overboard.
Yes, sir. You got that one right.
Oh! Yes.
Anna Faris starred, huge Seahawks fan, and that was kind of part of the deal.
Nice. So, Dustin, do not write me anything. I got one right.
I'll write you something.
All right. Oh, gosh. Will or Matt? Who should I go with? I'm going to go with Matt. Matt.
Hello. Right. Now, you may have guessed that I live in the United Kingdom.
What?
In Britain. I know. In Britain. And so...
I was going to guess Alabama.
Is that the same as England?
No. So
if they have colleges, I'm screwed. Go ahead.
We do, but I'm not going to ask you because I don't know any of those questions either. What is the exact Great Circle flying distance in miles from my house to CenturyLink Field?
Beautiful!
Is it
nice
4,792 miles?
Okay.
4,892 miles?
Okay.
Or 4,992 miles?
Wow.
He might win this because he's going to be closest without going over.
Okay, 4,700, 4,800, 4,900. I like to ask the kids and ignore them.
Well, do you know what? I have asked two random children who I went out and found in the streets, pinned down and asked them the question.
And they said, please let me go.
No, well, after the police let me go, I'm afraid that they didn't really want to give an answer, but they said answer your damn self, you strange man.
Okay. Well, I shall do that.
No.
My answer is 4,892 miles.
So 4,892 miles.
Yes.
I'm afraid you need to break out Mark's theme. It's 4,790 miles.
Oh! I didn't think that was going to be right. Okay. All right. I am 1 for 3.
Instead of Brian's song, it's Mark's theme. It's like,
yeah.
Okay. Time was, Mark, when we had a theme song, it really meant something. Will. Sorry. Hey, Will.
Yes, sir.
Do you have a question for me?
I do.
Okay.
You know, Moses, the last several years we have been blessed with excellent quarterback play, but that has not always been the case.
It's so true.
In fact, we've had some quarterbacks in our history who have never won a single start with the Seahawks.
Oh, Lord.
So, of the following 3 quarterbacks, name the one who actually started and won a game for the Seahawks.
Okay, I love it.
Gail Gilbert, Dan McGwire, or Charlie Fry. Which one of them actually won a start?
Take home a package of Charlie Fry. Okay, which one actually won a game?
Won a game that he started.
That's the question. Yes. Okay, I'm pretty confident on this, actually.
Ooh.
I think I know this one. Because I'm thinking of those 3. One, probably, I'm guessing, quarterback more games than the other 2. And because of that, I'm going to go with him as the winner. And I'm probably wrong. But I'm going to go with Mr. Gilbert.
No! He
so
couldn't
confident.
wait.
Who was
Dan McGwire. Dan McGwire.
Dan McGwire won a game?
December 11th, 1994, the Dan McGwire led Seahawks beat the Houston Oilers in Houston 16-14.
Wow.
Dan McGwire was 8 for 17 for 95 total yards.
Oh my God! And Dan McGwire won a game.
Because he was taller than the other quarterback.
Well, let me ask you. I don't know if you know this, Will. How many games did Gilbert quarterback and start? Do we know?
Gail Gilbert started 2 games in 1986 and lost both of them.
Okay, I thought he started more than 2 games.
Charlie Fry started the last time the Packers came to Seattle and won in 2008, which is what gave me the idea for this.
Nice. That's a great question.
I guarantee you it's because McGwire was taller than everybody else, and that's why you guessed that.
Weren't we so excited?
Matt, to answer your question, Chris Warren ran for 185 yards on 30 carries and got a touchdown. So
it's so awesome. It was still the Houston Oilers. It's so long ago.
Yeah.
How many seasons did McGwire? Did he just play that one season for us and then?
I think it was just
no, he was hurt? No, he was. We drafted him in '91 and then just stuck around through '94 and then went to the Dolphins the following year, but never played.
Right.
He was actually
I
on
know
our
we
roster
drafted
for
him
4
over
years.
Brett Favre because the owner decided he was taller, so we'd get more bang for the buck.
Yeah. That draft pick, I mean, he was maybe wanting to go anyway, but that draft, the owner or whoever wanted Bearing, I think, wanted McGwire, and that pretty much Chuck Knox just threw up in his mouth and said, "I'm out of here."
Yeah, well, he went to his assistants and said, "Be ready to coach your asses off because we're going to get fired after this season."
Wow. Hey, that's a great question, but I think collectively, not to critique, but we've spent way too much time talking about Dan McGwire on the show.
Probably.
Honestly. That guy doesn't deserve. I mean, we're talking longer than he actually played. Really.
Again, somebody has to do a computer-generated thing where it just it's like out of Star Wars, just those dinosaur-looking, machines that just crumble in like. Oh, remember
he was like 8'3".
I'm sorry, the AT-ATs, that
Yeah,
I can tell you the model of what you're talking about, sir.
Okay. Oh jeez. But when you get
jeez.
I think Matt can.
Geek check.
I think Matt can as well. So.
I can.
Hey, remember when McGwire was like 8'3" and he wore that mask? He looked like Darth Vader. That's
right.
Yeah. And actually, I apologize. I was wrong. I think he's thinking of Imperial Walkers, and so just throwing that out there.
Oh my gosh.
It's amazing you've got a wife, really.
Hey, on that note, let's bring another wonderful and amazing 12-man fan jam show to a close. Not necessarily a sad one. We're so glad you decided to waste some time with us. We hope you laughed and learned a little. I learned something in the fourth quarter. What did we learn overall? Well, we learned that Pat Mahomes really likes ketchup. We learned that Fortnite uniforms can be funny. Dustin can be the voice of reason. Will can be a fuddy-duddy.
Not true.
Yeah. Mayo is the antichrist of condiments. Our offensive line is turning into a bad Disney movie. Mark is driving a Model T, apparently. We spent too much time talking about Dan McGwire, and finally we learned that we talked about tissues tonight. So that was interesting. So, on behalf of my partner in crime, Matt, our news hound Shadowhawk,
did we talk about tissues?
We did. Statsman Mark, Dustin as the Beaver, Mike Pascal, Roger Goodell, Mark Tyke Turner, Jose, Tom, Mozet, Little Mo, Dieter Brock, Dan Magic Man Mikowski. This is Moses saying until next time, go Hawks.
Go Hawks.
Go Hawks.
Do you have a tissue for me?
No.
A little tissue?
No.
Little tissue,
No.
maybe?
Little Kleenex, maybe? Little Kleenex.
Basketball diaries.
I'm better for the support.